welcome back to GameSpot's continuing coverage of the Penny Arcade Expo 2014. I'm delighted to be joined by Mr. Timothy Schafer.
Hello there, my friend.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
How are you doing? That's a great wave. Is that what you do?
Like the Queen. I'm like.
You're walking the streets of Seattle,
Yeah.
just the wrist swap.
I want to go to that store.
It's
That's awesome.
yeah. They got like four of them.
They have four, and we don't have one.
Yeah, I know. It's a
Yeah.
killer. They've also got one in the expo hall as well.
Oh, awesome.
Apparently, all their really cool stuff is here. So
I heard the name. I thought it was something dirty, but.
Oh, really? Pink Gorilla? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We all know what that means. Yeah. Double Fine, you guys are like working on 1,000 games at the moment. What's going on over there?
Yeah, we have 1,000 games in our booth. We have Costume Quest 2 we're showing there, and that Brad, what was his name? Brad Muir.
Big cup.
We're letting him do, Master
yeah.
Chalice is there, and getting a lot of people lining up to play that. And we're showing one of our Double Fine Presents games, which is Gang Beasts.
Yes.
Which is, have you seen that?
I've played it. We played it on a panel yesterday.
Yeah.
In fact,
it's like adorably violent.
Yeah, drunk babies punching the hell out of each other. Was it true that was supposed to be placeholder art, but they've decided to keep it? Is that a myth?
I've heard that they had other plans to do. I remember seeing it and feeling like this is perfect.
Yeah.
Stop. Like just stop and because I think some of the things you do in the game are just so much more effective because you've got this kind of dead-eyed baby made of marshmallows.
Like amorphous blob.
Yeah, they blink now, and they have these costumes which make it even creepier. Cause
I haven't seen the costumes. This went up on early access yesterday, right?
Yeah, it's out now. You can buy and play it now.
Yeah,
the costumes make it feel like the movie The Strangers is just even more disturbing.
People are saying this is the future of esports. Do you agree?
Chicken costumes?
Yeah.
Yep,
just
obviously.
This video game in general. How did that come about? How did you guys pick this one up? Because it was getting a bunch of buzz. I know the Giant Bomb guys were playing a lot of it and giving it a lot of sort of exposure as well. How did that come along?
We've been starting doing Double Fine Presents, which is just our way of taking some of the exposure that we have and sharing it with other indies and getting games like Escape Code 2 and helping Last Life with their Kickstarter and also Mountain. David O'Reilly, and then I think this did this come in, Greg, through the mail, or how'd you find out about this one? Yeah, we have an address, indies at Double Fine. People can mail in and be like, we're interested, and so that's how we found out about it. And you just play this game once, and you're like, oh my god, how do I play this? How do I make my whole life about this game? Look at that.
You also have, I know the guys from Hitbox have kind of like a space within your studio as well.
Yeah,
you have this like open space for indies just to come and
we have a couple of rooms because I remember when I was starting out, one of the hardest things when you're starting a company is like just figuring out logistics of like, do I rent space and like do I pay? How do I make enough money to have a deposit for that's one of the things that you shouldn't need to worry about when you're just trying to make a game. Yeah. So we have an empty room that we're just letting a bunch of indies crash in and make games there, and we get to watch them and play them before they're done and
steal their ideas.
Steal their ideas for our big.
It's especially important in a place like San Francisco where the rent is for any sort of space like that is so high.
Yeah. They do pay us in blood.
Okay, that's very important. So this is up on early access. I think it's $15 down from $20. I think for if you get in on it now.
Yep.
When about is it like the full version of Gang Beasts gonna hit the shelves?
Full
the
version.
Internet shelves.
Next
summer?
Yeah.
All right. You can play it right now, but don't, because we're at PAX, and also maybe you're watching a live stream. I don't know.
Right after.
Costume Quest 2 as well. You guys had a day last week. We went over and got a bunch of footage of it.
Yeah.
This is the third Costume Quest game, technically. Why did you return to this one? You guys, one of the best things about Double Fine is I think you kind of you're not beholden to your IPs a lot of the time. You kind of make new ideas.
Well, I just always, I know, it's not like I really hate sequels, but I always, we have ideas for other games we want to make all the time. And this was just a game that every year we think about because Halloween comes up. And every Halloween I get this weird urge to play it, and other people do too. And then they start mailing us, like, look, I play this every year. Can you guys make some new content for it? Yeah, because some people, it's like you watch the Charlie Brown, Great Pumpkin special.
Yeah.
And you play Costume Quest every year. And we wanted to just give more content to them. And the people at Midnight City were like, let's get together and make this happen. And so, it's got new costumes. It's got the wizard and the pterodactyl and the clown, a personal favorite of mine. He heals people with laughter.
Terrifying.
And that's the most terrifying thing that could ever happen to a lot of people.
How does the story work in this? Because you guys kind of wrapped up pretty good on the other ones.
Well, if you remember, Grubbins and Ice ended with them in a sea of portals.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, some mysterious
So do you enter
things.
one of them?
But yeah, and this is a new adventure involving time travel involving a mysterious dentist who's trying to get rid of Halloween forever.
Oh, everyone
Halloween
hates
itself
dentists.
is on the line again. Yeah.
You managed to find the one universal thing that people hate. Dentists.
Except for my dentist, I want to point out that
Shout out to Tim's dentist.
Yeah, don't hurt my teeth. But it's got all the things people loved about Costume Quest, the kids and the humor, plus new costumes and a much deeper combat system. You know, there's different details that make a lot more choices for the player when they're playing all the turn-based combat with these monsters.
And you can speed around as anyone now as well.
Exactly, that's the thing. Everyone's got rolly skates on.
Appreciated it. When is it out? Halloween? Next Halloween?
Definitely
Halloween
by
after that?
Christmas. Definitely by Christmas.
Okay.
No, Halloween. I think it's obviously something we wanted to get out before Halloween.
Yeah.
And not on Halloween, but earlier.
Maybe that's the future of video games, like music, where you just make your Christmas single and you bank on it every year. You guys should make like a St. Patrick's Day video game, Labor Day video game.
We talk about stuff like that, Christmas Quest.
Oh yeah.
But the costumes are such a big part of it in Halloween. When we first made this game, a lot of the suggestions we got were like, it's great, but could you take out Halloween? Because that means people only buy it at Halloween.
It's so weird.
But the thing is that they might only buy it at Halloween, but they'll buy it every Halloween. So it's turned out to be a great thing for us.
From the new to the old, one of the sort of most sought after HD re-releases or reimaginings, you guys are bringing Grim Fandango back.
Yeah, Grim Fandango remastered.
You guys have a panel 4:00 in the main theater today.
We got both the Peter Chan, the original lead artist, and Peter McConnell, the composer for the soundtrack, and the producer of the new version. Matt is going to be there, and so we're going to talk about the old game and the new game and what we're going to do to bring it back to life.
Yeah, that must be, because was it 1998?
1998,
98?
GameSpot Game of the Year.
Game of the Year, there you go.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, GameSpot Game of the Year. I try to save my voice for the panel.
Yeah, fair enough.
Game of the Year.
Was that a long time in the making? Like, people have been asking for
a long time ago, is that what you're going to say?
No, was that a long time ago?
Let me tell you about 1988. I know you weren't born, but...
Great year in video games.
It was an amazing year. The Foo Fighters were very big, and...
Were they? 98?
I think they already, yeah.
People have been asking for this for the longest time. It's still thought of as, perhaps the best adventure game ever made. It's one that people bring up a lot. It's kind of a really hard game. I've completed it a bunch of times, and how do you think the 2014 audience will sort of, engage with that? Because with the Monkey Island stuff, you put in the tip system and whatnot. How are you going to make it so that?
I mean, I think.
Or do you even care about that?
Our main thing is about taking the original game and remastering it, making it look and sound as good as we can make it, better, more modern, higher fidelity. And then I think the main thing we want to revamp and make modern is the controls to make them really easy, because some of the difficulty came from the controls.
Actually moving Manny around.
Moving Manny around, which I was really good at, and I don't, But I think players are used to a different kind of control scheme now, so we're doing that and giving you the option of which way if you want to play. And
are you going to keep the sort of him turning his head for objects that are interactive and all that stuff? How much do you change and how much do you keep?
No, keep really that, but you can drive him around with your stick in an intuitive way, kind of that kind of evolved in Psychonauts, was similar. Raz's head would turn and look at things, so it's familiar. But we're not changing the hints or not changing the game, making it easier in any way, or changing the puzzles or anything like that. I think people are there's a lot more communication among people when they get stuck on these things through the internet and stuff. So I think there's definitely ways to not get stuck. And we had the internet in 1998.
Did you?
Hence
GameSpot in
Ireland being the around.
A website, yeah.
Yeah.
We're still around. Just about. Sticking in there. God, that sounds so depressing. It's all right. You guys have gone from strength to strength, though. Double Fine is now this behemoth of development. Large
There's already
and
a
small,
company called Behemoth.
There is, yeah.
Again,
sorry.
Very large, super behemoth.
Yeah. What's that like? I guess it must be strange working on something like Grim specifically when you had such a small core group of people to now be looking at yourselves in this really healthy position, because there was a time there where the adventure game sort of genre was on its knees and you guys looked like you could possibly go down.
Well, I think it's I think adventure games in the old system of the way things got made, where only big companies made games, and they had to be worth a huge investment of money, and they could only be invested in if every single player. I don't know. There was an old way of financing games, and nowadays when you have things like crowdfunding, or you have just ways for fans of a special kind of game like adventure games can now organize and get together, like with our Kickstarter for Broken Age, and they can say, no, we do want this, and we can take the risk away from you by all getting together in advance and backing this project. So that's how that's how Broken Age came to be, and I think helped show that there are people who still want to play adventure games out there.
Yeah. With Broken Age, you guys had the use of voice and whatnot has changed a lot since Grim. Like, I guess one of its sort of USPs at the time was that it was a voiced, and the fact that it was 3D as well. Those assets being from 1998, like especially I guess the music with that iconic soundtrack, have you guys have to like re-record stuff, remaster stuff? Like, I'm assuming most of the sort of the rushes of that have sort of disappeared into the ether.
A lot of the stuff we're doing right now is what I would call like digital archaeology. Like, we're going through all of these bins of DAT tapes and tapes in formats I don't even remember. But you find some like SCSI drives. We've had to find SCSI drives to like unload some of these old archives, but we can find as much as we can. We're trying to find the original source material. It's not compressed. Because a lot of stuff got compressed in order to be in the original game. So we're trying to uncompress it so we can go back to the originals to just make it look and sound really
I know, because that was 90, so it would have been on a CD as well. So there was quite a lot of voice work that was compressed down to fit on 600 megabytes of information.
I think the voice files were a similar quality to what people use now, because we always used really high fidelity voice in those games. The earliest games, like the disk-based version of Day of the Tentacle, like you had like 8-bit voice, and you could hear it when they say S, like words that have S's in them.
Get all nasty.
But the Grim stuff is pretty good.
Cool. You are no stranger to PAX. You've been here a bunch of times. What is it about the show that you like? We were talking before you came on about like the sort of the vibe here. How important is it, like actually meeting people who play your games and like talking to them about it?
It's amazing. PAX is amazing because everyone is just really nice. Hey, look, they're all here. Hey, you guys are really
all
nice.
These nice people.
Super nice.
You guys
super
are nice.
attractive and really loud. No, sorry. But because you work on a game, you see the people in your office and you see people from the press, and then you interact with fans or backers. In our case, sometimes through the internet, and sometimes the internet is on a good day really nice, and sometimes the internet is full of really angry people who make you feel like, what am I doing this for anyway? But you come to PAX and you meet people in person, and you get reminded that there's just tons and tons of just really great fans who connect with what you're doing, and they want to give back their enthusiasm to you, which then you give back into your next game. So it's a great exchange of just that, and a reminder of that relationship, that we don't make games just for ourselves, or we don't make games for an anonymous group, but we make games for these players who love them and want to give that back. So it's a huge love fest. I say it's a huge love fest. Is that strange?
Sure.
Yeah.
Tim Schafer, huge love fest.
Huge love fest at
Print
PAX.
the t-shirts. Have you seen much like Double Fine or like old Lucas cosplaying around? There's always at least one who's got that big Manny head.
Yeah, at the panel, we're having a panel today at 4 o'clock, and I'm hoping there'll be at least one Manny that shows up. I saw Vela from Broken Age yesterday, and she looked amazing. She had the hair fronds. It was beautiful. And that's always fun. There's someone in a backer shirt over there. Thanks for backing. It's always fun.
The Double Fine Present stuff, and obviously we talked about your space that you have in the office as well, like that outreach to indie developers. Does any of that happen this week? Because like this is one of the few times of the year where a lot of developers are in the same space, and I guess with something like E3 you tend not to get that sort of grassroots development community. Do you spend any time in like the indie mega booth, like going around talking to people?
Yeah, we're very close to the indie mega booth, and I love checking out the games over there. We're actually invited we usually do like a fan meetup on Sunday night at the Hard Rock, and this time we're having other developers join us there, and so now we're calling it Devs and Bevs.
Cool.
Come on down to the Hard Rock on Sunday night.
Excellent.
And hang out, because we're having other developers show their games too.
Have you had a walk around the indie mega booth yourself? Is there anything in particular that you sort of...
I'm going there later today. Yeah, I've been stuck in my booth talking my voice out
nearly going?
Signing some things. I signed a burrito yesterday.
You signed a burrito?
Yeah.
With a pen?
With a pen.
Did he or she eat it afterwards?
I did not see he or she. I tweeted a picture of it. Because, I didn't really sign it. I noticed that a burrito, if you put it this way, looks exactly like Manny's head, Manny Calavera's head. So I drew a Manny Calavera head on it.
Great.
Which hopefully will turn into one of those stories about a miraculous face appearing on a tortilla.
Perfect. I know I'm not somebody going to the hospital because of ink poisoning.
Because of eating ink.
Yeah, that'd be horrific.
A small dosage. It's a small price to pay for eating a beautiful piece of art.
We've talked about every single thing you're doing except for Massive Chalice. So let's talk a little bit about
Chalice. Look at that, it's on there.
Your foray into the world of kickstarting, as it was successful first time with Broken Age. You guys have done it here with Brad Muir's magnum opus. How did this sort of original idea come around?
Well, Brad, we were spending time pitching some various concepts of games that Brad had to publishers, and we had different levels of interest, and we had one publisher who wanted to do one of Brad's games ideas, but we didn't really like the terms of the deal, and it seemed like, we really care about certain things like controlling our intellectual properties.
Yeah.
I always think developers should own their properties.
Well, especially with your priors at Lucas as well. I'm guessing with Grim, it wasn't an easy situation to try and wrestle that one back.
No, luckily in that case there are some sympathetic people at the bigger companies who really just want to see that game made, so that helped us get over that hurdle. But with Brad's game, it was the first time where we had a publishing deal that we said no to. We're like, no, we'd rather go to the fans and say, hey, would you help us make this game our way? And Brad had this idea, like, I want to do this turn-based strategy thing that's kind of fantasy, and where you do this creepy breeding stuff, and I was like, creepy breeding?
Yeah, Tim Schafer loves eugenics.
We'll have to have that explained later, but that's the part of the game that I actually find really, really interesting, because just taking over a long period of time and really thinking about the passage of time and the enemies being kind of time-based, and just thinking about what you pass on to these kids, and that's my favorite part of the game.
What's it like now having this studio, which for the longest time was associated with one genre? Like, I think when you guys, I guess Psychonauts is probably the one that sort of broke you out of that in terms of a lot of people's perceptions, to this where you're making, a turn-based strategy game, action platformers, adventure games. Did you ever feel at any stage during your career that, like, any sort of negativity around the people thinking you guys were only really good at making adventure games?
We're not good at it?
You were only good at it. That was your thing. And
it seems like we always do something different every time, and I like that. And I think the thing that is consistent is that we are an inspiration-driven company. So our process starts with having a great idea. I have a great idea for a game, not trying to think about take two games that are popular and but it's something I want to make this game that I love, and trusting people like Brad or one of the creative people at our office who want to make a game, and if they really believe in it and this is their baby, giving them a chance to make it and do it in a creative way where we protect creativity and really value that. So I think that's been consistent over all our games, and I think people know hopefully by now that we'll always try and do new things that we've never done before.
Yeah. And you seem to be doing quite a lot of it at the moment. Tim Schafer, thank you so much for coming on stage. Tim Schafer, everybody.